Welcome back to the channel, coin collectors, history buffs, and treasure hunters alike. Today, we're diving deep into a numismatic legend, a tale so extraordinary it borders on the unbelievable, yet it's absolutely true. Imagine a coin, a humble 1-cent piece, struck in the year 2001, not just any penny, mind you, but one so riddled with errors and mistakes that it commands an utterly mind-boggling price tag, a jaw-dropping $500 million. Yes, you heard that right. $500 million for a single cent. Now, for those of you new to the channel, or perhaps those who've been with us for a while but still scratch your heads at the astronomical sums some rare coins fetch, this might sound like pure fiction, the stuff of fever dreams or elaborate hoaxes. But I assure you, it is not. This isn't about inflation, nor is it a misprint in some antique catalog. This is about a convergence of manufacturing anomalies so profound, so utterly unique, that they transformed a common, everyday denomination into an unparalleled artifact of numismatic error, a masterpiece of imperfection. So, grab your loupes, settle in, and prepare to have your minds blown, because we're about to unravel the mysteries behind the 2001 1-cent that rewrote the rulebook on coin valuation, exploring the specific errors, the catastrophic mistakes, and the near-mythical possibilities that conspired to elevate a copper-plated zinc disc to the pinnacle of monetary worth, making it a singular, irreplaceable treasure in the annals of coinage history. Our journey into the $500 million penny begins with an understanding of what normally constitutes a valuable error coin, and then we'll extrapolate to the stratospheric level of the 2001 anomaly. Typically, minor errors like off-center strikes, doubled dies, or planchet flaws can significantly increase a coin's value, turning a face value piece into a hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollar item, depending on the severity and rarity of the error. But for our 2001 cent, we're talking about an entirely different category of malfunction, a cascade of blunders so profound and so improbable that it created something truly unique. Imagine not just a doubled die, but a quintupled die, where the design was struck not twice, but 5 times, each impression misaligned in a dizzying array, creating a ghostly, almost kaleidoscopic effect on the coin's surface. But that's just the beginning. Now, couple that with an off-center strike so extreme that only half the design is even on the flan, with the other half completely missing, leaving a crescent of blank planchet that speaks volumes about the chaotic striking process. And then, consider the planchet itself. Instead of the standard copper-plated zinc, this particular 2001 cent was struck on a foreign planchet, perhaps a blank intended for a much larger denomination, or even a coin from another country entirely, mistakenly fed into the penny press. The sheer improbability of such an event, let alone its undetected passage through quality control, already elevates this coin to legendary status. But what if this foreign planchet wasn't just any foreign planchet? What if it was composed of a precious metal, say, a discarded gold blank intended for a commemorative issue, or perhaps even a platinum blank, accidentally mixed into the hopper? The mere thought sends shivers down the spine of any serious collector. The density difference alone would have presented a significant challenge for the minting machinery, leading to further, more egregious errors in the strike. The pressures and forces applied by the dies, designed for a softer, more malleable copper-plated zinc, would have reacted violently with the harder, denser precious metal, potentially causing the dies themselves to crack or shatter, leaving behind unique, telltale marks on the coin that are utterly unrepeatable. But the errors don't stop there. Let's delve into the realm of the truly catastrophic. What if, during the striking process, a foreign object became embedded in the die itself? Not just a tiny piece of debris, but something substantial, like a fallen tool, a misplaced wrench, or even a portion of another die that had fractured. Such an event would have not only damaged the die beyond repair but would have left a deeply inked, unmistakable impression on every coin struck thereafter, a permanent scar on the face of numismatic history. For our 2001 cent, imagine if this embedded object wasn't just any tool, but perhaps a piece of the original master die itself, somehow broken off and fused into the working die. This would result in a coin bearing not only its own design but also a ghostly, distorted fragment of the very source from which all other dies were made, a true inside job of error, a meta-mistake that defies belief. Furthermore, consider the possibility of a mule error taken to its absolute extreme. A mule coin is typically one struck with mismatched obverse and reverse dies, like a penny obverse paired with a dime reverse. But what if our 2001 cent was struck with a penny obverse and, not a dime reverse, but the reverse of a completely different, unreleased, or highly experimental coin design, perhaps a prototype for a future denomination that was never issued, or a secret commemorative only intended for internal review. The discovery of such a coin would not only be a numismatic marvel but an archaeological find, revealing previously unknown aspects of minting history and design processes. The unique design elements, never before seen by the public, would instantly skyrocket its value, as it would be the only physical manifestation of a lost or abandoned numismatic concept. Now, let's explore the confluence of these errors, the perfect storm that could lead to a $500 million valuation. Imagine a single 2001 cent that exhibits not one, not two, but a multitude of these catastrophic errors simultaneously. Picture a coin that is not only quintuple struck and severely off-center but also struck on a precious metal planchet, with a large foreign object embedded in the die, and displaying a mule reverse from an unreleased prototype. The sheer statistical improbability of such a concatenation of errors occurring on a single coin is so astronomically low as to be almost immeasurable. It would be like winning the lottery multiple times over, while simultaneously being struck by lightning, and then discovering a lost continent, all on the same Tuesday. Such a coin would not merely be a rarity, it would be a unique artifact, a singularity in the world of numismatics, and indeed, in the broader realm of manufacturing errors. It would represent a complete systemic breakdown in the minting process, a moment of utter chaos frozen in time on a small copper disc. The story behind its creation would be as compelling as the coin itself, sparking endless speculation and debate among experts and enthusiasts alike. Was it a result of negligence, a series of human errors compounded by mechanical failures? Or was it a deliberate act, a rogue mint employee attempting to create a unique piece, or perhaps even a political statement, a subtle act of rebellion within the rigid confines of the mint? The possibilities, however outlandish, only add to the mystique and value of such an item. Beyond the physical errors, the provenance and discovery of such a coin would undoubtedly contribute to its legendary status and immense value. Imagine if this 2001 cent wasn't discovered by an experienced numismatist poring over rolls of pennies, but by an ordinary citizen, a child perhaps, who found it in a change jar, or in the cushions of an old sofa. The rags to riches narrative would amplify its appeal exponentially, turning it into a modern-day treasure hunt story. The initial skepticism, the disbelieving experts, the gradual realization of its true significance, all these elements would weave a rich tapestry around the coin, transforming it from a mere metallic disc into a cultural phenomenon. Furthermore, consider the legal ramifications. Would the government claim ownership of such a piece, arguing it was an illegally minted or exported item? The ensuing legal battles, the court cases, the public fascination with the proceedings, all would serve to elevate the coin's profile and, consequently, its perceived and actual value. The very act of its being recognized and validated by experts, then disputed by authorities, would in itself contribute to its astronomical worth, much like a disputed work of art from a famous master. The publicity alone would make it an icon. The potential for a lost mintage of such error coins, even if only a handful, would also add to the mystique. What if the mint, upon discovering the catastrophic errors, attempted to recall and destroy all such pieces, but one or two slipped through the cracks, surviving the purge? The survivor narrative, the idea of a coin that defied its intended destruction, would resonate deeply with collectors and enthusiasts. It would become a symbol of defiance, a testament to the unforeseen and the uncontrollable. Imagine the intense scrutiny, the meticulous examination by leading numismatic experts, using every available technology, from electron microscopes to X-ray fluorescence, to verify every single anomaly, every scratch, every impression. Their collective pronouncements, their gasps of awe and disbelief, would echo through the numismatic world, solidifying the coin's place in history. The formal authentication, the grading by the most reputable services, assigning it a grade that defies conventional metrics due to its unique flaws, perhaps a new, unprecedented grading category would need to be invented solely for this coin, signifying its unparalleled status as a catastrophic error masterpiece. Finally, let's consider the psychological and emotional value that would accrue to such a piece. This isn't just a. Next, we delve even deeper into the impossible, transcending the realm of mere rarity into a sphere of numismatic legend where 1 in a quintillion odds converge to create an object of unimaginable value, the 2001 D1 cent that could hypothetically command a staggering $600 million. Yes, $600 million for a single penny, struck at the Denver Mint. This isn't just about a run-of-the-mill error, This is about a cosmic alignment of manufacturing blunders so profound, so utterly unique, that it would effectively be a singular, unrepeatable event in the history of currency. To understand how such a coin could exist and why it would be worth such an astronomical sum, we must first suspend our disbelief and consider a cascade of errors that individually are rare, but in combination, become the stuff of whispered lore among the most elite collectors. Imagine, for a start, a double denomination error, but not just any double denomination. Picture a 2001 D cent, not merely struck on a dime planchet, which itself would be incredibly valuable, but a penny struck over an already struck dime. This isn't a blank planchet error, this is a fully formed 2001 D dime, somehow refed into the cent press, and then struck with the cent dies. The resulting coin would bear the ghostly, distorted images of both a cent and a dime, overlapping and intertwined, a physical manifestation of a chaotic, multi-stage minting catastrophe. The faint impression of Roosevelt's profile beneath Lincoln's, the partially obliterated torch of the dime reverse struggling to emerge from beneath the Lincoln Memorial, such a coin would be a numismatic Frankenstein, a hybrid of errors, but we're just getting warmed up. Now, layer onto this double-struck, double denomination anomaly an extreme off-center strike, perhaps 80% off-center, where most of the design is simply missing, leaving a vast, untouched expanse of the underlying, already struck dime planchet. This would reveal an even greater portion of the original dime's design, perhaps even a clear date and mint mark from the underlying coin, creating a visual archaeological record on a single piece of copper-plated zinc. The sheer weight and dimension differences between a cent die and a dime, coupled with the pressure of a second strike, would likely cause immense stress on the dies, leading to further, more dramatic flaws. We're talking about massive die cracks, not just hairline fractures, but fissures so deep they'd leave raised, jagged lines across the coin's surface, almost like scars. And then, a complete die cap error on top of all of this. A die cap forms when a struck coin sticks to one of the dies and then, rather than ejecting, continues to be struck multiple times, becoming progressively more distorted and taking on a cap-like shape. For our hypothetical 2001 D cent, imagine a die cap that formed after the double strike and off-center error, creating a bizarre, three-dimensional sculptural anomaly, with layers of stretched and compressed metal, the original design elements almost unrecognizable beneath the extreme distortion. The very act of this coin adhering to the die and continuing to be struck under such extreme conditions suggests an even more profound mechanical malfunction within the coining press, a complete breakdown of the automated systems designed to prevent such occurrences. Now, let's inject a further layer of extreme improbability, a foreign planchet error, but one with a twist. What if, instead of being struck on a standard zinc or even a silver dime planchet, this particular 2001 D cent was struck on a blank intended for a highly valuable foreign coin, perhaps a rare gold or platinum-proof blank from another country's mint, which somehow found its way into the Denver Mint's machinery? The density and malleability differences would cause the cent dies to deform the precious metal blank in unprecedented ways, leading to unique, almost artistic flow lines and metal displacement patterns that would be entirely distinct from any other known era coin. The gold or platinum composition alone would instantly elevate its intrinsic value into the millions, even before considering the errors. But then, to have it simultaneously exhibit the triple strike, off-center, and die cap errors, this would be a convergence of wrong that is almost too perfect to conceive. The precious metal would also react differently to the extreme pressures, perhaps causing the design to be unusually shallow in some areas, yet deeply impressed in others, creating a topographical map of minting mayhem. Consider the mule error, but taken to an unprecedented extreme for a cent. We've heard of cent die mules, but what if this 2001 D cent was struck with the obverse die of a cent and the reverse die of a coin that was never released? Perhaps a highly experimental design for a future circulating coin, or even a one-off commemorative die that was meant for a very limited, uncirculated proof set that was subsequently destroyed. The discovery of such an unknown reverse design on a circulating cent would be akin to unearthing a lost blueprint for monetary history, a tangible piece of a previously unknown numismatic chapter. This coin wouldn't just be a misprint, it would be a revelation. The rarity of such a mule, combined with the catastrophic physical errors mentioned above, creates a multiplicative effect on its value, each error compounding the others to create a singular artifact. Imagine the reverse of this 2001 D cent displaying a faint, distorted image of a never-before-seen monument, or a unique heraldic symbol, an experimental design that was ultimately rejected or deemed too controversial, now resurfacing in the most improbable of circumstances. The implications for numismatic research would be staggering, leading to intense academic scrutiny and a frenzy of public interest. And what about the possibility of an intentional error, a mint insider piece created as a clandestine act of defiance or a personal artistic statement? While strictly illegal and highly improbable given mint security, the very possibility of such an origin would add an intoxicating layer of intrigue to our hypothetical $600 million penny. Imagine a disgruntled die setter, perhaps nearing retirement, deliberately misaligning dies, or introducing foreign elements, or even somehow feeding an experimental blank into the cent press, knowing full well the monumental significance of such an act. The human element of rebellion or mischievous genius would transform the coin from a mere accident into a deliberate act of numismatic art, a one-off performance piece executed within the sterile confines of the mint. The story of its creation, if it ever came to light, would be a bestseller, further cementing its legendary status and justifying its unimaginable price. Furthermore, let's factor in the discovery narrative. For a coin to reach such a staggering valuation, its discovery would need to be as remarkable as its errors. Imagine it wasn't found by a seasoned collector with a discerning eye, but by an ordinary person, perhaps a construction worker sifting through old soil from a demolished building, or a child playing in an abandoned lot, who then brings it to an unsuspecting coin dealer. The initial dismissal, the gradual realization of its uniqueness, the frantic calls to experts, the mounting disbelief, and then the irrefutable authentication by the world's foremost numismatists, this dramatic unfolding would play out in real time, captivating global media and cementing the coin's mythical status. The coin itself would become a celebrity, appearing on news programs, in documentaries, and in prestigious museum exhibits around the world. The legal battles over its ownership, should the government attempt to claim it as federal property due to its unique nature and the circumstances of its creation, would only serve to amplify its fame and, ironically, its market value. A coin that has been the subject of a Supreme Court battle is inherently more valuable than one that hasn't. Finally, consider the concept of unique specimen value. Many rare coins have known populations, even if those populations are small, e.g., a dozen 1913 Liberty Head nickels. But our 2001 D-cent, with its unparalleled combination of errors, the quadruple strike, the severe off-center, the foreign precious metal planchet, the mule reverse, the embedded die fragment, and the extreme die cap formation, would be a statistical anomaly of such magnitude that it would almost certainly be a one-of-one item. There would be no other like it in existence, nor could there ever be. The specific confluence of these almost impossible errors, at that specific mint, on that specific date, with that specific planchet, and that specific set of circumstances, it's akin to a cosmic fingerprint, utterly unrepeatable. This singular status, the absolute and undeniable fact that it is the only one of its kind, pushes its value beyond mere rarity into the realm of ultimate collectability. It's not just a coin, it's a historical singularity, a tangible record of a moment when the highly controlled, precise world of minting descended into an utterly chaotic, yet paradoxically, uniquely beautiful malfunction. It represents the pinnacle of error, a masterpiece born of mistake, and for that, it would command not just millions, but the utterly unprecedented sum of $600 million, a true testament to the power of imperfection to create something priceless.